Me too. Welcome to Still Talking Uncut. I'm your host, Big Easy, joined by my co host, Master Distiller Sean Rigsby, and we are grateful and privileged enough to have another Master Distiller, Big Nick, from the Bang for Your Buck episode.
Is that
Hey,
what you did? Bang for your buck?
bang for your buck. What's going on, everybody?
Hell yeah, man! Glad to have you.
Now, Sean, how's it
Thank
feel to
you.
be the
It's
little
great
guy
to be
tonight?
here.
Uh,
Sean's the little guy tonight. You got Big Easy and you got Big Nick. You got little Sean. So,
I thought that was a normal thing.
not usually, not usually. uh,
That is what it is. So, what's going on, man?
Big
Tell us
Easy.
about yourself. Do what?
Well, I've been moonshining for about 5 years. Um, and, show family on Facebook and spent the whole time thinking I wasn't going just going there for the experience. Didn't think I was going to make it through, and I ended up winning the thing. So. I still been trying to process it all. It's been a couple months, but still feels kind of surreal that it all even happened.
So, what was your? Well,
hold
go ahead.
on.
Anyway, go ahead.
Sean jumped ahead.
I know what
you're
you're going
drinking
for.
on, Sean. What you drinking on, bro?
We're
Tried
gonna go
and
with
true.
Nope. Well, yeah.
Oh, it's tangerine cream, huh?
Ah,
And
Yeah, we knew the apples was coming out. So
yeah, that's it. No liquor tonight.
double fisting.
we ain't got liquor. You got to double fest them. So
Hey, man! Just here in about 3 years, Nick, you're gonna be double fisting it too, son.
Oh, I can imagine.
What you got in the jar over there, Big Nick?
Well, I got some Patty's peach pie with me today, so
Yeah, I seen you had posted that on your Facebook page, and I was intrigued. I like peach.
man, it's good
Where?
stuff. Almost need to pour it over ice cream. It's
I did
good.
earlier.
He had me at ice cream, man. Nothing wrong with that. If it's bad for me, I want it.
Just once.
That's for sure. I broke out some of our buddy Hooch's bourbon, and in Hooch fashion, I mixed it with a little bit of soda. That's how he drinks his bourbon. So, shout out to Hooch. Oh, the boss has made her appearance. So,
oh yeah.
So you said you got started 5 years ago, Nick. What got you into distilling? Did you find an old family member? Did you just catch the bug from watching TV and all the things on the internet?
Well, it all started. I was making wine, and I guess to say how I got started in that, I saw a little clip from Catfish Cooley about closet wine.
Nice.
That he takes Welch's grape juice, some sugar and yeast, and puts it in his closet. And it's the best wine he's ever had. And I was like,
it comes out great.
I was like, man, there's no way it's that easy. And
it is. It's that easy.
I did it, and I was hooked at that point. Like at one point, like I had like probably 20 gallons of wine sitting around that I hadn't bottled, and
yeah,
I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna try to distill it and make some brandy. I mean, it just so I bought a little cheap Amazon still, and
a little stainless pot, a little beaver.
Yep, and at that point on, I was like, all right, I'm done with the wine game. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, I'm ready to get it. That's all it takes, man. That first successful attempt at making alcohol, and then after that, it's like, what's the next step?
Yeah.
What's next?
Oh man, I felt like I've had to take a loan out for the amount of, like, it's just, you get so hooked into it, and then you want to just try everything. Like you see new processes on Reddit or YouTube, and you're like, oh, how much does that cost? What do I got to do to get there? All right.
It's like any other hobby for us, as soon as we get into something, man, it's full bore. Like, and as soon as you enjoy it, like I try to keep my hobbies to a minimum because I'm that way. Don't matter what I'm doing, I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Oh,
Let's get it. So So the first thing you made was it the Welch's, the closet wine with the Welch's?
Was the closet wine with the Welch's, and then I bought at that point I'd bought a great press and the big fermenters, like I was going all out, and then I just had so much. I had so much wine, I couldn't give it all away. Like I couldn't get it bottled, and I was just like, I've got to condense this down. So I made some pretty good brandy with it.
Nice.
We had honeybees for a while, and I was doing a lot of mead, and
I like mead.
so
Expensive.
yeah.
Did you distill any of that mead?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I had some. Well, the good thing about mead is that it doesn't go bad like normal wine would. Like it's hard to get it to turn to vinegar because honey just has this characteristic to it that it just doesn't go bad. So
yeah, it's evolved. That's nature. That's nature sugar. It's something a little special. Honey special. So
I still have some I made when I first started about 5 years ago, and every now and then I'll break out the beaver still and pour in a gallon of mead I have sitting and
nice.
see what I get out of it. So
you still have a jar that you made 5 years ago?
Oh, I still have a couple gallons that I keep put up in a closet.
And how cool is that? I talk about how if you have jars from when you first started, how cool is it to go back 5 years later and try it, like make the same thing now and see the difference and see if you've progressed or regressed. You just never know. But I think anybody starting out, man, save you a jar of your first stuff and put it in your forever area. That way you can go back 5 years later and remember where you came from and
or do like an infinity barrel, but like a bottle. Get you like a 3 gallon something, and just dump a little bit in every year.
Replace what you drink.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's amazing.
So
you don't think you've learned so much, in the time span that you do it, and then you go back and try it and be like, wow, I really came a long way. Or you start telling someone who's just getting started about the process, you're like, wow, I know more than I thought I did.
That's really how it turns out, man. It seems like you just start talking and you realize you're like, wait a minute, why do I know so much?
Yeah.
I mean, you just attain information over the years. What to do, what not to do, what to try, what not to try. Like, it's kind of amazing, really.
Oh yeah.
I've learned so much in the past 2 or 3 years. It's mind blowing that you can't remember all of it, but you, like Sean said, you pick up a lot of it, and if that situation comes up, you just remember it from talking to guys and just bouncing off ideas and watching other people's failures and just learning. So
absolutely. Well, you start thinking. Oh, sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was about to say, at one point you start thinking, did I make that up or did someone tell me about that?
Hey, if you say you said it enough time, it becomes the truth.
Absolutely.
You ain't shitting. So talk about your favorite still to run.
Well, I'd have to say it would have been this 10-gallon pot still, nothing special about it, that I had before my submarine pot back here.
Oh, the one you had before that?
Yeah, the one I had before this one. And it was, to me, it was so hard to clean and get down in there and clean it. That's why, I sold it and got this one. But looking back on it, I wish I'd have hung on to it a little bit longer. Just because, like, it, I was averaging, coming off right after heads about 170. But with this one, it's I guess because of how the profile it's built, like it's hard for me to get above 155, and that's even with heads and 4 shots. So, like, I don't, I guess a little bit of trial and error, learning different designs and what they're made for. But I'm gonna be doing some modifications to this one to see if I can help boost that up. So.
Have you thought about going to a whole complete different setup or just a different pot?
Well, I have, but I've got a pretty significant amount of money in this one, and I want to try to make this one work best I can before I scratch and start over.
I'll tell you, that's real cool still. Usually you don't see much submarines in general, let alone being full copper.
Yeah, me and Sean have talked a lot about submarine pots over the past couple of years, and
Oh
so
yeah.
kind of love a beautiful submarine pot. So
Oh yeah, it'll produce alcohol, but it's if you're looking for high proof, I think but you can't go wrong with the pot still and thumper.
yeah,
So.
Absolutely not.
it's tried and true. So,
Oh yeah.
so you want to tell us about tell us about your show. You went on there, Bang for Your Buck. Which was a really cool concept in my mind. Like how can you turn out the best thing and the most, what you can for the best dollar? Because I mean, realistically, if for most of us we're chasing that, it's like how can I do this at a more cost efficient way? But I want the best thing I can get. I want the best thing I can get at the cheapest thing I can without going cheap. And substituting crap for to save a few dollars. So,
well, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Us moonshiners, we don't have the resources like actual distilleries that can afford craft ingredients. So we're all the time trying to look, how can we get the bang for our buck? So when they told me that was my episode, immediately I was excited because that's what I already do anyways. Like I'm not trying to find the most expensive ingredients to try to, make the most expensive alcohol. So, so the challenge was we had $30 to do 20 gallons of mash. Anything that we grew or foraged counted as free. So for me, my mind went straight to a couple of years ago, I bought some seed from this guy named Dusty Moonshine. He does his own heirloom corn.
That's a good dig, man. My man, Nick. That's a good dig, bro.
Got some seed from him. Planted
it. Well, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, no. You already started. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have a return address? But I already know what it is. Never mind.
I think you got White Castle by there once or something not too long ago, Sean, right? Like checked in at a White Castle or something.
Yeah.
Never mind. Beyond that, so got you some heirloom corn.
Got me some heirloom corn. I grew it myself, dried it out, ground it, and I just had it in the freezer. I was saving it for a special occasion. And when they told me that, I was like, "There's no better time than this." So, I had just enough grain, and at the time we had honeybees out here, so I had about maybe a half gallon of honey that I harvested for it. So, right there, I had my sugar content in my grain. So my wife's a huge Elvis fan. We got married in Graceland.
Nice.
So, I was like, well, I'm going to do peanut butter. I've always done some sort of type of peanut butter, whether it's peanut butter rum, or peanut butter and jelly. But I was like, I'm going to do peanut butter and bananas. Bananas are pretty cheap. Powdered peanut butter.
They say you used powdered peanut butter on the show.
Yep.
In case anybody's wondering, it wasn't, like Jeff, it was powdered peanut butter.
No, and you can use Jif or Sam's brand or whatever, but you're gonna have about an inch of oil sitting on the top of that mash. So just know you're gonna have to siphon it off.
Yeah.
So been that trial and error, been there, done that. So
yeah, like you said, even if you get the natural peanut butter, it's made with more peanuts than like Jif is. It's just a lot of oils. So if you're going to try it, you might want to try the more natural peanut butters possibly, or did you get that oil when you used the powder at all?
No, well, and I started doing research because I've done this with the peanut butter rum I did. Was that a lot of peanut butter draft beer? They use that peanut butter powder. They talk about the oil content's low, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try it out with my mash, and it really paid off. So.
Now you tried it before you went? Did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Did a practice run, came through beautifully. And the best thing about it is a lot of the peanut butter whiskeys on the market are flavored after the fact. They've got a heavy mouth feeling, like oily. But with that, it's very light on the taste. And Sean, I do believe I sent y'all some.
I dropped the ball.
Oh man, you already drank them, didn't you? I knew you
No, they're sitting
did.
in there. I fucked up. God damn it. We'll
It's
do
all
it
right.
again. We'll do it
It's all
again.
right. But
So
yeah,
Sean had some drinks and he didn't pull them out for the show, huh?
Yep.
That happens.
Yep.
it's all
I've got
right.
one for me and one for you.
Nice. We'll
We'll do it next show. We'll watch them, or we'll
maybe
do it.
next
I
time I see Sean, that'll be what's in our glass one time. So
Not to worry, not to worry. But but with the peanut butter banana, and still, still to this day, when I still do that run, it comes out just like it did on the show, like heavy on the peanut butter and light on the banana. But you get enough of both to get the concept of it.
Yep.
And Elvis was a huge peanut butter banana fan, so to me, there's no better way to pay tribute to the king and my wife than peanut butter banana.
Peanut butter banana sandwich.
Everybody likes peanut butter banana, right? So,
I mean, there ain't much I don't like, but that's not really saying much.
So, how did the show go? Well, I guess before I ask that, who was on here with you on the show?
So I had Devon and Faye on there with me. Probably, the toughest competitors. Like both of them know their shit. I mean, Devon made this watermelon moonshine, and he used fresh watermelon, and it tastes just like a Jolly Rancher. I've never tasted anything like it. Faye, like so much knowledge. Like she works in a legal distillery in New Jersey, and I mean, just she had so many different layers in her drink. Like it's just, I told her she was like Willy Wonka. Like it tastes like an everlasting gobstopper because you just got so many different layers after layers in it. So,
yeah. So what did she make? Her and Devon.
So Devon was on. He was working towards a watermelon moonshine. Then he got voted out. And then Faye was working on like a fruit limoncello. So a lot of complexity in her drink though. Just I was so amazed at it.
So what was your most, I don't know, what was your favorite experience about the whole ordeal other than actually winning?
Honestly, my probably favorite experience with it was actually having these like world known moonshiners like taste something that I'd made. They could have told me that it would tasted like goat's piss, and like I'd still been as happy as the day I won. Just to get feedback from them about what I made. Like to me, it was a huge honor.
Like that's the goal, man. Get something you made tried by people you've grown with. You past few years, you watch them, you respect them, and then the knowledge gained from listening to them, and then your competitors that you're there with, and you could very easily grow more in that 2 weeks than you have in 5 years, just based off all the knowledge being pumped into your senses the whole time you're there.
Oh, easily. I mean, even the amount of knowledge I picked up between Devon and Faye and some of the other competitors that were there while I was there, just being passed back and forth. In my, I guess you call it moonshine career. I've always been a loner. Besides what I've seen on Facebook and passed around in moonshine Facebook groups, I never really had hands-on experience with anybody else. Never really met another moonshiner before. So it's definitely eye-opening.
Oh yeah. So do you prefer grains generally over fruit, or fruit over grain?
Well, I think between fall and spring, I prefer grains for sure. Just because when it comes between spring and early fall, uh, I like to mash in whatever's in season. So strawberries getting ready to come up. I do an awesome strawberry lemonade. Uh, I like to use fresh local ingredients. So, I'm not one that, will go to a supermarket and, get what's on sale. Like I want to go to the local farm. What do you have? I got a lady I work with who has a muscadine vineyard. She lets me go out there and pick. So, every August I'll do a muscadine brandy. So
I bet that's real good.
oh yeah, I love some muscadines.
Hell yeah.
So but grains, yeah, I just I like the heirloom grains. It's if you can't grow them, they tend to be pretty expensive. But yeah, I mean I've used all the way down to cornmeal. Just whatever I can get my hands on.
I'll ferment anything in alcohol.
That's right.
And if you think I can, I'll give it a shot. Like, man, I'm gonna try that.
Hey man, there's
I'll
always
find
added
me,
sugar.
I'll find me a yeast that will ferment that. That's the challenge, Like
Well,
you do it so many times, you're like, oh man, I did this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. You're like, man, I need something different, and so you give yourself a little challenge sometimes.
well, and that's what I like to see myself as a moonshiners. I like to push the boundaries. It's always good to pay homage to the heritage and how the old timers done it, but there's room for advancement in it. And one of the things I've been doing lately is I'll partner with the local movie theater and I'll collect their popcorn at the end of the night that they don't sell, and I mash in with that.
See, I'd eat it all. I'd be double fisting every popcorn all over my car.
My wife's trying to hide bags of it, and I was like, I need
That's
that.
me.
Give it back.
That's me. Like, oh, you can't. This bag's mine. Did you get a butter pump? Did you get a butter pump?
But yeah, I mean, it's led me to this current recipe that I'm working on for kettle popcorn.
Nice.
And so, some of the guys will tell you that we're at Winter Gym this past week. I mean, it's nothing like it's out there. And hoping after this peanut butter banana takes off, that it'd be something I really hone in and pitch out there.
Nice.
Good shit. So speaking of the jam,
was
this your first one?
This was my first real one. I popped in at the fall jam, and like I said, never been to one. Haven't been to the summer events. Didn't really know what to expect. And fall jam was a madhouse. I don't even think I got past the lobby. But this is the first time I spent like all 3 days, and it still was a madhouse. But man, you meet so many good moonshiners, outlaw and celebrity ones, and just the wealth of knowledge between everyone. Like it's like a big family. Like everybody's sharing what they're working on, what they're sipping on, what they've been making. Everyone's willing to taste taste yours and you taste theirs. I mean, it's just a huge family.
It's so easy to get really drunk really fast. You don't even realize it. Like, oh, I've tried 10. I've tried 10.
I've seen them carrying several people out.
Me. That was me. I'll tell you, you'll be at the summer jam. It's a totally different experience at the summer jam.
It is.
It's going to be hot, just so you know. It's going to be hot. But it's a totally different experience as opposed to the fall. I haven't been to the winter jam. We went to a fall jam a couple years ago. But yeah, the summer jam, it's something else. I really like the summer jam. So maybe get with Sean and see where he's staying.
Absolutely.
The closer to the fairgrounds you can get, the better off you are, because it's so simple just to walk back and forth. So if you can get within walking distance, which for me that's like couple hundred feet.
Wherever you lay your head.
That's right. Wherever you fall, that's where I'll sleep. I've been there a few times. So
yeah.
So when you was on the show, did you run into any issues? Like, did you have any ferment issues? Did you have any still problems?
Well,
was you hungover drunk one day? Normal stuff.
I think probably the biggest issue for me, and you were talking about the heat, is that like they just couldn't get the air conditioning down low enough. Like I feel like it's about 85, 90 degrees in there, and I'm like pouring sweat. Like I'm going through sweat towel after sweat towel. But a lot of footage that I feel like we probably did anywhere from 30 to 40 hours of footage. And they shrink it down to 45-minute episode. So, but there, a lot of times, honestly, probably every time I cranked up the propane, like I had some kind of issue going on, whether it was with the regulators or leaking gas somewhere. Or, my second run, I actually had lacto on top of it, and I don't even know how it even happened because coming from the wine background, I sanitize everything. Like I stars in the shit out of everything. Uh,
Now, everything's open ferment, right?
well,
So everything around it possibly got infected with from the mashes around it, or
it's possible. I like, once we mashed in and then we got it to temperature and uh, put in our yeast and our nutrients and stuff. I didn't really see it till we went back to film again 5 days later. So I couldn't take, for all I know, they could have left it in that bathroom. I mean, but uh,
did
yeah.
they give you like gravity updates, like how it was moving and things like that?
Nope, we didn't hear. I guess a lot of us, just not know, and we didn't really ask till we went back for filming, just to even know if we haven't had alcohol out of it, and we all did. So
I'd be like, hey man, where's it at? I'd ask every day, where's it at? Where's it
They
at?
they said they told us we could ask, and they said we'll just call, and you can come down. Me and Lorenzo, we loaded up in the truck. We just drove on down, and they were both actually worked off. It was about 4.5 days. Mine was zeroed out.
yeah, I know for a fact mine probably wasn't. So I do know that all of our starting gravities were floating around 1.07.
Good start.
So I have a wooden spoon that I use at home, and I know when it starts to float that I'm where I need to be. So to keep it consistent, so I get to where I don't even measure it anymore.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
You're that high, I mean, you're around that 10% threshold. Even if it doesn't all the way finish, you still got plenty of alcohol to make you a good run out of. So that's
That's like I was telling the old boy down there in Bainbridge. His stall or his mash stalled at like 1.02, but it started at like 1.1.
Yeah,
run that shit, man. It's as done as it's going to go, and it's got the same amount of alcohol.
Yeah,
anyway.
you got plenty of alcohol in there.
Well, and that's one thing people need to understand is that there's, different yeasts have different alcohol tolerances. For a while I was using EC 1118, for fruit, and it can go as high as 20%.
1118 is a workhorse.
Yeah,
that'll ferment anything. I've fermented almost anything with that 1118. It's crazy.
It is definitely a beast. But it's not made for grain. You use it for grain, you're not going to get the results that you would as you would with fruit. So
yeast makes a difference, like.
Yeah.
But for my first, go ahead.
Go ahead. You already started.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean for my first run, I knew it wasn't finished. Like it was bubbling away when I was going in there. So I came out on my first run about 80% after mixing in for that jar. 80%, 80 proof, excuse me. So it was a little low, and I knew going in the second round I was probably going to be third pick in the still house, and I ended up being, and luckily for me, Faye didn't want to use a thumper, and what she did was kind of like more like a gin technique where she just hung her stuff down into the pot and just let the vapor take its course from there. So yeah, I got a thumper, but I ended up with a cap that I'm not familiar with. It kind of looked like a tea kettle. And so I struggled like putting that thing together because I was going from half inch back up the 3/4 inch back to half inch. And they didn't air this part, but Digger was like, "Do you think that's going to work?" He's like, "I doubt that's going to work. You going from all these different sizes and back down and constricting it." And, I told him, I was like, "Look, it's go big or go home. I'm here to win."
If JJ still worked and he's still on there, it's gonna work. So.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. I've seen some people run some fucking sketchy shit on Facebook. So, well, I would say anything you were going to make would work just fine.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll talk about the Beaver Steel, but after about 2 runs with it, I started making modifications to it, and I hooked up dryer hoses to it. Washer and dryer hoses to it, and It worked. So you're right. About anything will do.
Oh yeah, taking Vapors and put a hot water heater hoses on them, and make thumper jars and bigger worms. Like it's limitless. Hey, I saw a dude make liquor with garden hoses. So, not saying I would drink it or try that shit, but Sean sent me a video. Like, man, this dude is making liquor straight up through garden hose. It was garden hose. I don't care what he says. He when he came back, I can't wait. Like, dude, that was garden hose. Like, he was distilling through garden hose. It was amazing. I did enjoy seeing it.
It was a keg still, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He ran a hose from the tower over to the downpipe and the thumper.
It worked. I mean, it worked.
Man, I in some of those moonshine groups, you see people doing some crazy shit, and you're just like, I don't know. For me, I kind of just bite my tongue. I was like, you have to learn. You have to learn through experience. Like someone tells you, like you're gonna be stubborn, not listen. You just gotta, same thing. Like I blew a calf one time because I put whole strawberries in the thumper, and everyone kept telling me, don't do it, and I did it anyways, and it sucked up in the pipe and clogged it, and it was like a volcano inside.
Oh, moonshine about killed me story. Here we go. Whole strawberry in the thumper.
Whole strawberry in the thumper, like sucked up in the pipe.
Was you using? What kind of still was you running it on?
That was that pot still that I had prior to, and then I had the thumper with it and everything, and I just dumped a bunch of whole strawberries in there. Just didn't
was that a paste still or a clamp?
No, it was compression paste. So
okay, so
I started to see the cap rise, and I was trying to hold it down, and there was no holding it, and like it was like a volcano, and it went all down my arms and scalded my legs. Like it was like the whole kitchen smelled like strawberries for a week. Like I mean, just
maybe holding it down causes it to bubble over as opposed to blowing
out
alcohol vapor out. So maybe your little 4th degree burns you received stopped you from a big fireball. And what did you say? You was in the kitchen?
Yeah, yeah. I run on electric because.
Okay, I got you. All right, no worry then. But still, hey, the worst part about that was looking at the old lady afterwards. Like, oh yeah, I just did this in your kitchen.
Yeah, I tell you what, she is a saint because she's put up with a lot between me keeping my mash in the closet and doing clothes fermentation and blowing a cap all over my clothes to awesome. Spilling mash all in the kitchen. I mean, she puts up with a lot. So
that's awesome. Yeah, see, mine drew the line when I dumped 20 gallons of Uncle Jesse's in the living room when I was wheeling it through into my back room. She's like, "You're done. That's it." Floor, everything was sticky for like a month, and I'm just like, I made it outside, and I threw it on the dolly, and I'm wheeling it through the house, and I bumped something, and it fell out of my hand, and it was freshly. I hadn't even pitched the yeast yet, It was just sugar and corn and water. And that shit went everywhere, man. And I'm trying to clean it up. And I'm a half-ass cleanup. I'm a dude. Like, I don't clean shit up real well. And so I know it's not up to her standard. And she's just watching. And finally, she takes over. I go hide out in the bar the rest of the night. Like, yeah, she's pissed at me. Then I was like, I learned about aquarium heaters then. And I, bought a bunch of aquarium heaters and froze my ass off from then on out. So...
Did you do like a Big Daddy cleanup job? You just threw newspapers on top of it and just hope no one saw it?
Well, no. See, I'm more of I'll roll out paper towels and kick them around with my feet to soak that shit up. And
guilty then,
there. Like once that's the big man cleanup. Like, oh yeah, just throw some paper towels on the ground and use your feet and rub it in. And when it's cleaned up, get the broom and the dustpan and sweep it in there. I ain't bending over.
Well, and that's another reason why I chose the submarine pot is like I like to distill at maybe belly button level because I hate bending over to pick up jars. Like, actually, I take it back. Probably the worst part about filming was having to bend over and pick up jars like off the ground because I never do jars off the ground when I'm at home.
Like, I think they have you get on the ground to light that damn burner just so they can laugh at your big ass getting on the ground and getting back up, knowing damn well
they do.
Like Judd laid down on the ground. Judd laid down. I'm pretty sure Judd was laying down when he did it, and it's like they're over like, get up, fat boy, get up.
Oh
up.
yeah. I'm sure they have like a full reel of bloopers that they all sit back and watch. Like, all right, like here's a new set of big guys rolling in this season. Let's take it back.
Just watch all of them try to get up after lighting the burner. I'd watch that. I'd definitely watch that. So
yeah, back to that cap. And I kudos to JJ for what he ran, because I was thinking along the same lines as him, is that everybody does the same setup. It's either pot and no thumper or pot and a thumper. And, I was kind of grateful that I got a cap that I didn't use, because to me, I like to think of it like Ink Master. If you're not, if you just do one style of tattoo, you're not technically an ink master. And I feel the same way about master distiller. Like, if you can't run on any pot, are you really a master distiller? So I want to go in there and show that I could do something different that I've never done before. And, but with my challenge, I knew how to get my proof up. So I threw a gin basket in there too, to try to, get some of that elevation in there, so that water would drop back down, the alcohol would keep rising. So
the first round was proof gallons, right? How many proof gallons you could come out with? Was that your first round? You had to run your still and see.
So it had a lot of corn, light on the peanut butter, because I ferment with my peanut butter. So second round, I added another jar of that powdered peanut butter and kind of macerated with it before I went to town. And if you saw the episode, Digger said it's like putting a whole jar of peanut butter in your mouth, and that's what I was going for. So
hey man, when you taste something peanut butter, man, it's got to be there.
Absolutely. So
it's interesting. So what is? Are you a corn sugar guy? Are you a cane sugar guy, or what's
full conversion, all fruit?
I try. Well, I'll say for peaches, I'll go all fruit. It really depends. Sugar, I'll go cane sugar. I mean sugar. Geez. See, I'm already in that peach pie, and it's already working on me. Strawberries, I'll go cane sugar, just because strawberries are already hot when they run as it is. So I try to use whatever sugar that's not going to put the most bite on it.
Now, do you have any type of trick you'd like to share on how you tone down the hot that most people get from strawberries?
Yep. So you need to melt down your sugars and stuff first. Throw a little bit of citric acid in there and try to do like introvert the sugars. So you're separating the dextrose from whatever else they got. So that way you're not just burning, you're not just throwing sugar in there and having the yeast have to work extra hard. You're actually kind of breaking it down even more for them to be able to eat it down. So for me, that works for me.
Inverting your sugars helps cool down that fieriness you get out that most people talk about when they talk about strawberry moonshine.
Absolutely. And I do it, really anytime that I add sugar, that's what I do. Actually, I'll do a big batch of it. And with grain, I always try to do full conversion, but if it's not at the ABV that I want it to be, I'll go back in there and pull some out of the fridge that I've bottled up and just throw it in there to get it to where I want it to be. So I always keep some on hand.
That's like that inverting sugar deal is one of your buddies, Henry Law, likes to do that with peaches.
Yeah, I actually met them not too long ago, and they were talking about that. I told them I like to go all fruit when I can, and they're like, no, you got to use sugar because it helps bring out some of that fruit flavor. And it hasn't been fruit season yet, so I may give that a shot. But so far, everyone's liked my peach brandy. It's all fruit. Like I use peach juice and peaches. Just make sure the pH level's right. But
hell yeah,
I like peach brandy.
Shit, if you don't, I think there's a problem.
I think there is a problem.
So for the last challenge, just like most of them, it's making a cocktail that they could sell. Uh, so what I went to was, I had some dry roasted peanuts that I had, and had some more bananas that I didn't throw in the thumper, and gin basket. And I kind of just, kept pouring it over that through a filter, kept filtering it through, trying to get some more, really trying to get some more of that banana flavor, but not lose any of that peanut while it's gone, because bananas it's so hard to work with.
It's hard to get that banana flavor that you think about when you think bananas. You think candy bananas or banana popsicles, and it's hard to get that flavor in your end product, because usually it's cooked banana. Like you make banana, it's cooked banana. That's what you taste. So
it's weird how that works, right? Like when you think banana, like you think banana Laffy Taffy.
Yep.
But when you go eat a banana, like it doesn't taste like that.
No, not at all. And I think that's from all the artificialness that we all grew up on, and we're so used to, like, oh, banana, it's so good, that's so good, and so like when somebody hands you like a banana brandy, and it just tastes like cooked bananas, you're thrown off, and it's like you got to get that. Got to get that Laffy Taffy. You got to get that. It's got to have that Laffy Taffy. That smell. Even if you just get that smell, it'll trick your palate into tasting what you think of when you think of bananas.
Yeah. Well, you think about that with watermelon too. Like you go and eat watermelon candy, and I could tell you, like, it does not taste like fresh watermelon. Fresh watermelon don't taste like nothing.
It tastes like water. Like it tastes like I'm going to eat half this thing. That's what it tastes like. And I'm not going to feel bad. I'm hydrating. Give me half that watermelon and a spoon. Don't even give me a spoon. I got hands.
But yeah, so I melted down. I did my own banana simple syrup and my own peanut butter simple syrup at home before I came. It kind of was just blended through that. Well, just step back a minute. So that second jar I turned in, they said it was around 120 proof, and they were surprised that the peanut butter flavor came through at that high proof. So I already knew I had the proof to work with. So at that point, I was just diluting it down till it was about 95 to 100 proof with those simple syrups, and it ended up looking like lemonade. And that's probably the biggest critique I got on it, is that it wasn't a clear jar; it looked like lemonade, not peanut butter banana anything. So
bananas are yellow. There you go.
Absolutely correct.
When I do it at home, you put it in the freezer for about a week, and all that, the solid banana that comes through, it settles to the bottom, and then you siphon off the top, and you got your clear liquid at that point. But with the show, you don't have that kind of time.
That's that time crunch. It's like you got to make this work in this small amount of time. Can you get it done and get it done well?
So did you go to, or did you did you have an hour to mash in, or was it longer?
I had an hour to mash in, and I started reading through the rules when they sent them to me, and they're like, oh, whiskeys, you got 3 hours, because I planned to do all grain, and then like 2 days before, I was like, I better just ask before I get there, and apparently those rules are set for like when they're doing like a whiskey episode, so they just kind of just left them in there, and they're like, no, you got about an hour. So I was in panic mode. And just starting to go through Reddit, go through some the moonshine groups, and I found where like pre-soaking your grains helps them gelatinize to help bring that out. So I got permission. They were like, yeah, you can pre-soak them if you want to, whatever's going to help you. So that's what I did, and can't say whether that helped me or not with the fermentation process, but that's what I did. Yeah,
didn't hurt. So nice.
That's cool. Yeah. So, were you surprised by how well you did?
I was.
Were you? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was. I was honestly, through each phase of it, I was not expecting to. I was expecting to get voted off each time, and I guess it's just because like my competitors, they just had so much wealth of knowledge, and they had such good products. Like I felt like I was not in the same league as them. Um, and yeah, even when it came down to the end, like I was in shock. I was in shock for about a week didn't even really process what had happened, and you
Well, it
know,
will when you see your jar on the shelf.
yeah.
God
It,
damn it, Sean.
it,
We knew.
I
We
think
knew.
you need to rephrase that as to if. Uh,
Oh.
so, um,
Hold out
Anyway,
hope and just think we'll win.
yeah. I mean, that's all you can do is hold out hope. It's you're at the distillery's mercy on that, and it definitely sucks, especially for you season 2 guys. Like you guys been waiting, going on 3 years now. It's a lot of things are being said, and I feel like a lot of things are not being kept up like they said they were going to. But I hold out hope that they get working on y'all's, because that means I'm just closer to getting to mine. So
that's right. I'm not the only one waiting.
yeah,
But anyway,
uh, it's yeah. I mean, there's a lot with it. It's you got a lot of winners now that I still talk to a lot of them from season 4, and some of them from other seasons that it's just like it seems like they don't even really get to enjoy it. That I think we're in a generation of everybody gets a participation trophy. You know what I mean by that?
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Like you were
You
on the
know,
show, so you're automatically a winner. Like and I feel for some of these guys that have won and they don't really get to enjoy it for the moment. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they're still competing. They're still competing for like their time to get to enjoy it. I mean, that's the only way I can put it. It's you know
well, the boy, I don't know how to put it in a way that people would take it.
well I know I
Put it
probably
however
hurt
you
some
want.
feelings. I know I probably hurt some feelings in saying that, but I mean it's just I don't know. It comes from
Well,
one of those
you
things where
going good?
everybody preaches about being a family and being happy and supportive and celebrate each other's wins, but then when it comes time to certain people didn't win, it's like they can't let it go. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's just how I
Well,
see it.
you know, it's a competition show.
Yeah. It'd be different if it was a showcase show where, 3 moonshiners or 2 moonshiners and, one legal distiller. You're going to come in here and show you guys what they do and, show you that, what they do best, But you're right. It's a competition and, it sucks. And it sucks for everybody involved, but there has to be someone that comes out on top with it. And,
3
uh,
winners because nobody won a goddamn thing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's exactly where it's at right now. Is that everybody's sitting even because nobody's gotten any prize from it. So
Yeah, it is what it is.
you know,
But
Maybe it's just going to be like one right after another. They're going to get it right, and we'll all be down in Gatlinburg partying. So we can hope.
yeah. Well, and I mean, to me, there's other. If they're that far behind, and like I said, I'm no businessman, I'm no lawyer, but I would see at some point just start contracting it out to other distilleries. I mean,
I, you
whatever
know,
you got to
I
do to own up to it.
I emailed Greg Edom, the head distiller at Sugarlands the other day, and that was my suggestion. You know, I named in there a distillery that would be willing to do part of that, and I've got no email since.
It's like, hey man, bring in some GNS and throw some flavoring in it. Like sign off on it. Like, yeah, man, whatever. Throw some flavoring in it. Throw some
Absolutely.
gray neutral spirit in that bottle. Put my face on it. Let's just get it done.
Right. I
Let's
mean,
get it done.
just they need to reach out to all the winners or local spots, see who'd be willing to take the contract on for it.
Mm-hmm.
And even just have on there, partnered with Sugarlands Distillery for this limited run
Hey,
or whatever the case may be, and leave it to that distillery if they want to run it full time or not after that.
Yeah, you go into distilleries all the time, and they have their label on it, but the small writing says, all made in Indiana, and here we are in West Virginia.
Yep.
You see
I'm
that.
cool with that.
Like there's ways. There's ways.
Just like source liquor, it comes from somewhere else, and it can still have the name of who made it, on the front and people's faces, and on the back it could say, distilled by, whichever distillery they want to have it done at.
Absolutely.
And and that because they sell out of them so fast, and they don't make any more of them. So maybe a small distillery could run
Would be the way to go. Yeah.
Like, hey, it's out there. People like it. Well, you can get it over here. This is where you get it at from here on out. Because all the guys from season 1, it's not like they brought out, like, hey, we're selling this every day now. Now this is a mainstay on the shelf. It was a limited run, and that was it.
And they told me, because I do a pretty good pitch with mine, because even though I didn't think I was going to win, I went in with the game plan. Everybody loves Elvis. Like, my wife loves Elvis. Like, I got married in Graceland. It fits. It's all about marketing. I've seen Elvis fans that will literally would probably buy a turd if it had Elvis's signature on it. I mean, people love Elvis, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But there's not an Elvis liquor out there there's one out there that has his name on it, but it has nothing to do with what he actually drank it or ate and stuff. This one's like a tribute to the king.
Yeah, it's peanut butter banana.
Yeah.
Like them both.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Both. But yeah, hopefully it works out for everybody, and everybody gets something.
Absolutely. Well,
so what's your favorite thing to make, Nick?
I would have to say, if you asked me a few weeks ago, I would have probably said that strawberry lemonade. But now that, like, I've started this journey of this kettle popcorn, I would have to say that. I was just so surprised at how much like that movie theater popcorn taste comes through through the jar. So it's probably one of my favorites.
I just ate a big old tub of popcorn Saturday. I went and watched Cocaine Bear.
Everybody loves popcorn, right?
That's right, man. I love popcorn. Especially, hey, that movie theater popcorn hits differently, man. Like, it ain't like making it at home. Like, it's something about it. I don't know if, like, the mass production, I don't know what it is, man, but movie theater popcorn it hits differently.
Well, and I worked in a movie theater for 3 years, so like, and honestly, the idea come to me when I was sitting there for filming, and I was like, you know what? I said I probably could have came in here with a huge contractor bag full of popcorn, and like the show probably would have ate it up, and at that point it was too late. But God, I wish if I'd have done things differently, that's probably what I would have done.
What's your ferment, Nick? I got a dump truck of popcorn out back. Let's get it.
Well, and you got, that huge 55-gallon bag of popcorn, and it mashes down into 20 gallons of mash, and that's with majority water too. So, it all just kind of squishes down.
Oh yeah. So that's still you got behind you, not to change the subject or nothing, but who built that?
So American Distilling Company, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're from Wisconsin or somewhere in the Midwest. But it's like kind of like one of their secret menu things. You have to, they don't decide, but if you go in the search bar and type in submarine pot, it pops up for some reason.
All these still guys, they'll build you what you want.
That's unique. I gotta have it.
They'll build it.
Yeah, that is really cool, man. I always wondered how something like that would work, especially if it was like, say, 50 gallons.
Oh yeah. So I like running 10-gallon because like it doesn't put me having tons of mash laying around. I normally keep about 15 to 20 gallons of mash at a time, enough to do two, a spirit run and then a second run if I want to, or I can just do two regular runs. So
And if you make a mistake, it doesn't kill your pocket. It's like it was just 10 gallons.
Right.
Like
So
the little ones R&D, man, real good for R&D. My bad. Go ahead, Sean.
Are you a fast runner or are you a slow runner?
I'm a slow runner. Like I think between setup and cleanup, it's about a 12-hour process for me.
And that's on what size still?
10-gallon. So I just I hook it up in my building or my living room, and I'll just let it slowly heat up. I'll do whatever I got to do for the day, and normally about the 4-hour mark, it'll get up to temperature, and that's where I start putting out. And normally by 8 hours is when I'm getting down into my low tails, and I'll shut it down, and then the cleanup process. Like I go through it all. I make sure to get it good cleaned out. I do a citric water, take some citric acid, lemon juice, and wipe it down. Make sure I get it good cleaned out.
After every run.
Every run.
That's the wine guy in you right there.
Yeah.
I'm a grab that hose. All right, we're good. Let's go. I sprayed out with the hose and call it a night. So that's that.
I try to, but
you see it a lot with the wine and beer guys that come in. They're like, oh, I still sanitize, I still clean, and I'm like, dude, I ain't washed out my mash tun with nothing but hose water in the last 3 years.
I know what I do is overkill, but I've had batches of wine that I thought for sure were going to turn out, and all it takes is really like one gnat to get in there, and it'll turn the whole batch to vinegar. And I just get scared to death that I'm gonna, it's not gonna be clean and it's gonna come out terrible, and you put all that time and effort into it, and so
yeah, just distill it, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
That's me. Throw it in it still. It'll be all right. If it sucks, throw it in there again. Run it till it tastes like nothing.
Unless you burn it.
Yeah, unless you scorch it, and then don't bring it over and try to get me to run it.
Well, I'll tell everybody like a tip I've learned for not scorching your mash. You have to have two big pots. One has to be able to sit inside the other one, but I have one of those sous vide machines or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I put the water in the one pot, run the sous vide to get it up to temperature, and then put my corn and everything else in the other one. It's a slower process, but you don't have to constantly stir it to keep it from scorching, because you're basically running off the water temperature of the other pot.
Yeah.
So it doesn't burn like direct contact. So
super cool. Like the best part about this, man, everybody's got their own way, and it works great. And that's a super awesome way to do it.
Hell yeah. And that's like some people, like with fruit, right? Some people cook it. Some people don't cook their fruit. It's what I appreciate everything like that, because everybody does something different. You can find out what you do, what this guy does, and make your own way.
Like before I met Sean, I never even thought about just dumping boiling water on my grain and letting it sit, and not have to row the boat or anything. Just let it sit, let it gelatine, let it do its thing, And it's just like, you did nothing. That's me right there.
And it works, right?
Yes, it works great. And I was just like, I'm amazed by that, man. So it's just like I said, no matter who you meet, who you talk to, somebody does something different, and you just never know what you're going to pick up and what you're going to use from then on out. Like I'll keep that with me forever. Like, man, I ain't never rowing a boat again,
man. And I'll tell you, I didn't know like liquid amylase or whatever existed until Shua and Prohibition started using it.
The high temp, when you didn't have to worry about it, dump that high temp amylase in there, and then put that, your gluco in second, I believe.
Yep.
And
it's almost like cheating, right? Because like you could barely stir your mash paddle, and just a teaspoon of that stuff, and that stuff is like back to water again. It's crazy how it works.
It's amazing. Just and like 5 years ago when you started, this shit wasn't here. There wasn't even nobody here who thought about, to even bring that to your attention or anything like that. You're learning the hard way. And now it's like, if you're a new shiner now, you definitely have you have a lot gifted to you.
Have it easy.
Yeah, it definitely can be easier on you for sure.
Absolutely. I hate the way 6-row barley smells. Like, to me, it smells like baby vomit. But so I was malting my own popcorn for the longest time, and and then the high temp amylase and the glucanase or glucose or whatever you call it these days came around, and just like, why go through all that trouble when this does just as good?
Yeah, like, wow, here we go. Like, you ever use the 2-row instead of the 6-row? I know it don't have as much protein enzymes, but and 2-row's a lot of people that make beer use it, but it's definitely, it's got different characteristics than that 6-row.
I'll have to try it. We got a local brew store closer to where I live, and the 6-row is just what they carry a lot of.
Yeah.
But they do have like different like chocolate malts and all that stuff. Like, I really haven't seen to have a need for just yet. I would like to do like a chocolate peanut butter, kind of like a Buckeye.
Yeah.
Eventually. So
every time I've experienced with chocolate malts, it always tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Everything alcohol that has chocolate in it tastes like coffee to me. And I hate coffee, so I'm like, oh man, I'm good on that. And even when it's fermented, it smells like coffee to me, and I'm thrown off of it. So it's not my dig. So if it comes out great, let me know.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well, boys, we're about the hour mark, so
yeah, I guess we did hit an hour. It was a quick hour, man.
It was.
That was a great show, man. I enjoyed listening to you talk, Nick.
I appreciate it. It's definitely fun chatting with you guys. Like I said, being back home, you don't really get to talk shop with, other moonshiners. So it's as I'm signing off, I just want to tell everyone who's getting into the business, just be creative, be unique. Don't try to copy what someone else is doing or what they have going on. And that's for moonshiners and master distillers too. Like, just stick to your own process. Like, come up with your own ideas. And just be your own person, because that's going to get you further than anything else. So
nice. It's a great message, Nick.
Yep.
We appreciate you. We said we're honored and privileged to have you on here. Always enjoy spending an hour or so shooting shit with you and Sean. Even though I talk to Sean all the damn time, so it's no difference there. But it's nice to listen to somebody else talk. So it was, like I said, man, I will meet you at the Summer Jam. So I'll meet you in person at the Summer Jam. I'll be there, and I don't know. I might make it down to Popcorn. I'd love to make it to the Popcorn Festival.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll be at both. So either way, I'll see you at one of the two jams.
I know you big time now. You're obligated. So
I wouldn't say big time.
At the Summer Jam, you'll have to come over off to the corner to see Sean. So
yeah, I'm not on Moonshine Row. That's
that's for people with jars.
Well, Sean, we'll start our own road.
No, it's not.
I know
for
it's
people
not.
with.
I know it's not.
I'm not even going to get into this. So. Nice. I like that.
Next question. All right. All right, man. Oh, y'all have a great night, man. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Yes,
Thanks for hanging out, Sean.
Yep.
Everybody that's watching, y'all have a great night. Rewatch us on YouTube. Click the live links, or listen to us on Spotify. We're always there. So y'all have a great night. Everybody shine on. Don't click off. Don't leave it right away, Nick.